French Dispatch is Wes Anderson's new film, which I had been waiting for all year. And then we actually, if you don't know, I work at a movie theater, and we were showing it. Uh, and I realized on a Wednesday, oh, we're gonna show it this weekend. I didn't. I thought it was coming out 2 weeks later than this, but I was like, oh, we're finally getting it. And what's interesting about my theater is we're one of those theaters where we get movies that I find out later we're like only showing movies that so few theaters in the United States are even showing some of these movies. Like, um, there was a movie called Rescue, which is like a National Geographic documentary. Only 4 theaters in the United States were showing it, and we were one of them. And it was like, oh, it was kind of eye opening. So this movie was kind of like that, and then it opened up to more theaters, which I think it got pulled though because I went on the last showtime we had because I had missed it because I was, if you saw from my previous videos, I ended up in the hospital and things like that. So yeah, I'm very glad I finally got out to see this one. This is a very highly anticipated movie for me because I haven't seen all of Wes Anderson's films. I'll be honest about that. I've seen enough to know I love his style of filmmaking, and I want to see a movie whenever he has one. And the previous film he did, Isle of Dogs, was one of my movies that year. Fantastic Mr. Fox is my favorite movie of all time. It's just that if this guy just makes great movies. So this movie is about, it's kind of an anthology about a few writers writing different stories about different things. Once about a torture artist, there's a teenage rebellion story, and different things like that. There's basically 3 different stories, and it's an anthology, and that's kind of the movie. It's very artistic, as most Wes Anderson, not most, all Wes Anderson movies are. The cinematography is, of course, gorgeous, but that's because every single Wes Anderson film has amazing cinematography, is absolutely gorgeous. I think sometimes his movies only get prettier. Though I would say this movie is probably his least prettiest movie because while there is color in this movie, it is mostly black and white, which was kind of cool. We don't get a lot of that kind of stuff. Like, of course, we had The Lighthouse and some other movies, but, it's just cool. But it's very artistic where it'll switch back from color and, um, and like black and white at different points. But it also gives the feel of like this is someone telling a story, uh, and we're watching it unfold in kind of a looser way because it's in black and white, right? Not in color like real life. Kind of adds to this artistic feel, which I really like. Um, I enjoyed all the stories in this movie. They were all great. The only issue I have, and this is just an issue you're gonna have with any anthology story. Not all the stories were as good as some others and captured my attention the same way the others did. Now that doesn't mean they're bad, boring, whatever. It just means that like the first one was my favorite, the one about the tortured artist. That was my favorite. That captured my attention the most. The second one, my second favorite, and it kind of got weaker for me as they went along. But I guess it's just all what we kind of relate to and attach ourselves to. So I don't know, but I think that there is going to be an audience who watches these stories and zones out through some of them. And I was not like that. I enjoyed every single story. I thought they were fantastic. I thought they were great, but I did enjoy some over the others. But that's just going to happen with any anthology type story movie because well you're not gonna ever love everything in them equally. It's a pretty good movie, and I think that if your theater's still playing, please catch it. It's not gonna be there much longer. It's a limited release. It's a great movie. I know. I mean, to be honest, I just want to encourage people to see more indie movies because let's be real. Some people feel like they have to catch like Ghostbusters Afterlife or Venom, right, opening weekend, but they don't realize that that thing's gonna be there for like 3 more months, right? Meanwhile, smaller movies like this are you're not gonna have an opportunity to see again. Like once they're gone, they're gone, and you just kind of gotta go. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of like that, and it's unfortunate, and that's why we need to support these movies, is because they can't get full releases, so more people can see them and view them, and that's because they have a limited audience. But we need to expand that audience so that can happen. I it makes me wish films like this were released to Netflix, because while I enjoyed watching it, I had a great time seeing this in a theater. I was in an empty theater for the most part. There was like one person there who got up, left, and refunded his ticket. There was another person who was there who was clearly also a Wes Anderson fan, and that's what this movie's really made for, is Wes Anderson fans and just fans of really artistic, good movies. You know, that's what this movie's made for. But I just want this audience for his films to expand, and unfortunately, I don't think we're there. But we'll get there eventually.